Hey, good afternoon. It's John again. I'm gonna play some Immaculate Grid. Yesterday was closers day. I mean specifically they had the 300 save category in there, and I won't say it was Grid Busters. I could have done a lot better than I did. But what I went back and played it afterwards, and I was just like, how many saves can I get total? And I posted that on my Twitter. I think it was basically 8 members of the 300 save club, and then like Rod Beck for Giants Padres, and it came out to like 3,400 saves. Just going around. I think I had Hoffman in the Padres Padres Marlins category, and then maybe it was Randy Myers in the Padre 300 save category. So there were some fun ways to play it. It's another like kind of fun theme game that you could play. So maybe I'll do more of those in the future. But for now, I'm gonna hit share. Yeah, let's hit refresh on this. Ooh, we got 200 wins. That one burned me last time because I thought Dazzy Vance, I thought he had 200 wins, and turns out he had 197. We got 2,000 career hits. And the Baltimore Orioles will line the Orioles up with the Astros, the Cubs, and the Red Sox. Interesting choices all the way around. 2,000 hits is like it is sneaky. Like you can be a 265 career hitter and find yourself to 2,000 hits if you hang around in lineups long enough. Um, taking my coffee here. So I think for this one, pretty good candidate might be Mr. Lee May here. More famous for being Houston and Cincinnati because he was swapped for Joe Morgan, but then he played for Baltimore after that. Picks 2%. Let's see. Rogers Hornsby does work here. Let's try him out. 1%. Okay. That means people have really caught on to Rogers Hornsby and the Browns being St. Louis Browns being the Baltimore Orioles and all of those fun little nuances. And let's see, Baltimore and Boston. I know Dwight Evans briefly played in Boston. I don't think that's the big winner though. Um, let's see. I think St. Louis Browns and Boston Red Sox. That's not an Al Simmons team. Brown, he never played for the Browns. He did play briefly for the Red Sox. I would say Heinemanish might work, but not sure. I don't think Goslin works. I know. See, Joe Cronin and Vern Stevens both played for the Senators and the Red Sox, but I don't think they played for the Browns. So maybe this is leading me to go a little bit more modern. I believe Brady Anderson started with the Red Sox. I think I'm right about that. Let's try him out. But he's very well. Let's dial in. I was 6%. Okay, that wasn't nearly as obscure as I thought. Um, sorry, and Brady Anderson might be a guy who had 2,000 hits too. So, um, anyway, let's yeah, we can make the transition over here. 2,000 hits batting. What do we think of how long did Bobby Dorr play? 15 years, maybe, but some of those might be Warriors. Uh, I'm gonna not do Bobby Dorr. I don't feel as confident about that one. That was just a name that popped in my head. Babe Ruth will work. Let's see. Obviously, Wade Boggs works. Dwight Evans works. Fred Lynn will work. Jim Rice will work. But we can go with people who weren't as well known with the Red Sox. People who popped in, like, Al Simmons. There we go. 0.08%. That's more what we're looking for there. And let's see, who are some obscure players to, not obscure players, but prominent players just briefly drop into Chicago for a bit and get to 2,000 hits. Hornsby was one of them, so oops. Hmm. I wonder if like Alex Gonzalez got to 2,000 hits. Like it wouldn't shock me if he did. Actually, it would. There's no way he got to 2,000 hits, but if he played a little bit longer, like an Alex Gonzalez type player can get to 2,000 hits if they get 8,000 plate appearances, 9,000 plate appearances. Um, you figure 8,000 plate appearances with 1,000 walks. That's a high number with 500 walks. And like at that point, you're 2,000 for 7,500, which I think puts you in the 270 region. Nothing, nothing crazy. Just plenty of people have probably hit that. But I should take a look and just try to find some of the most obscure 2,000 hit type people out there. Um, in the meantime, like an Eric Young or a Lance Johnson. These are some guys I'm thinking of. I'm very confident that Billy Williams and Ron Santo will work, Ernie Banks will work. These are people who are known with the Cubs. Andre Dawson and is known with the Cubs, even if he played a little bit longer with the Expos. Ryan Sandberg will work. Trying to get people who just sort of dropped in. What about for either of these? I could go Kenny Lofton. Yeah, what if let's try Kenny Lofton out. So he goes sub one. All right. And then for the Astros for 2,000 hits, I know Jose Cruz gets there. I'm pretty sure Cesar Cedeno, that's Jose Cruz Sr. Cesar Cedeno will work. Jim Wynn, I'm not sure about. He drew a lot of walks, so maybe not him. Um, Joe Morgan, I'm pretty sure he works, even though he drew a ton of walks. Um, Biggio obviously works. Bagwell obviously works. Berkman, I'm pretty sure works. Alou, maybe. Altuve has gotten there, I think, but I think he'll be a pretty popular pick. Um, what if OG Frank Thomas got to 2,000 hits? You'd think as much as I've used him, he would have gotten to 2,000, or I would know if he'd gotten to 2,000 hits. Multiple time All-Star, so wouldn't surprise me. Um, and who are some other people who just sort of drifted in? If it were the Mets, Richie Ashburn would work, but he played for the Mets, not the Astros, or the Colt 45s, as it were. I'm just thinking of those two teams because they were expansion teams at the same time. Pretty sure Miguel Tejada will work. Like he got a lot of hits. He didn't walk very much. Um, not sure on like Glenn Davis if he played long enough. Hmm. Gonna be a hard no on Carl Everett, I think. I don't think he played nearly long enough. No, no on Morgan Ensberg. These guys didn't play long enough. Not nearly not long enough. You do still have to get to like it is still averaging, you know, if you're playing 15 years, it's 140 hits a year or something like that. So you're still like in the lineup a lot. You still have to and be playing for a while. Even if you're not necessarily like an all-time great. I think I'll go with Jose Cruz Sr. Even though he's well known with the Astros. I know he'll work. Takes 3%. All right, and now we have to get people who ended up with 200 career wins and pitched a little bit with the Astros. Um, Nolan Ryan will work. Roger Clemens will work. Andy Pettit will work. I'm not. Justin Verlander works. he'll probably be among the more popular ones. So far, Andy Pettitte is the one that I think works the best. And the Astros being a newer team, not, I mean, expansion team. They're one of the oldest expansion teams, but um, yeah, I'm trying to just think of people who've popped in because 200 wins is something that you have to have kicked around for, even in the old days. You still have to have kicked around for a bit to get to 200 wins. I think I'm gonna go Andy Pettitte. I think I talked myself into Andy Pettitte. Like you're not gonna get to 200 wins with Daryl Kyle's. Well, Daryl Kyle's career was cut short, but Mike Hampton's career or Shane Reynolds, great pitcher, didn't get to 200 wins. Mike Scott, great pitcher, didn't get to 200 wins. J.R. Richards is another guy would have gotten to 200 wins, career cut short. Um, mentioned Nolan Ryan. Ooh, Don Sutton briefly played for Houston. I think Don Sutton is a better pick than Andy Pettitte. Just, I mean, Andy Pettitte was a Yankee, so he's well known, and Don Sutton's was only briefly with Houston. He was traded from Houston to Milwaukee in the 1982 season, similar to how Verlander was traded from Detroit over to Houston in the 2017 season. So Sutton gets 1%. All right, so Cubs with 200 or more wins. I think the all-time leader in wins for the Chicago Cubs, like in a Cubs uniform, I believe it is still Charlie Root, who's best known for giving up Babe Ruth's called shot. But I don't know that he gets to 200. I think that might be a Dazzy Vance situation where he had in the 190s or something, but just people haven't stuck around in Chicago for that long. You can go with Greg Maddux, you can go with Fergie Jenkins. They'll both work. Um, and then yeah, man, I don't know though. So there's some 1800s pitcher I should know who racked up like 30 wins a year for 7 seasons and got to 200 wins. Probably is, and I probably just don't know them. Um, let's see. Oh, Grover Alexander would work. But he's well known for the Cubs, but that's actually getting me to second guess Charlie Root. He mainly played for the Phillies. He played for the Phillies. He had some um big years with the Cubs, and then he closes out his career with the St. Louis Cardinals, wins a World Series, is on the mound when Babe Ruth is caught stealing to end the 1926 World Series. Um, so I think he'd be a single digit pick at least. I could try to think of like the 300 win club, um, and even go into the high 200s. I'm not going to get everyone, but um, well, like Cy Young would works for Boston there, along with a few other teams. Walter Johnson pretty much just works for Minnesota, I think, via Washington Senators. And you got Christine Mathewson would hit the Giants and the Reds. Um, Grover Cleveland, I mentioned his teams. Warren Spahn will hit like the Mets and the Giants, I think, in addition to the Braves. Um, then you got Clemens and Maddox, I think in the 340 range, 350 range. Yeah. Phil Niekro didn't play for either of these teams. I don't know about like Pud Galvin or Oldhouse Radbourne, those guys. I think Oldhouse Radbourne was done before the Red Sox existed. Pedro works for the Red Sox. Be a pretty famous one though. As Clemens would have worked for Houston or Boston. Curt Schilling works for Boston as well. All right, I'm kind of stalling here. Let's try Grover Alexander. See how famous he is. 1%. Ooh, let's go for Boston. I'm gonna try out Tom Seaver. He was on his final year, 1986. He's on that Boston Red Sox team that goes to the World Series. He's not on the postseason roster though, but he does play on that team. So let's hit him. He gets 3%. Pretty good rarity score. Um, no huge surprises here, but let's see. Will it just be a list of everyone with 2,000 hits? Yeah. Let's let's find our favorite ones, but I'm not going to go over 49 different names. Let's see. Jim O'Rourke, Doc Kramer. Not Tony Perez. I could have gotten that one. Jesse Burkett. Who else? Who else? I said Al Simmons. That was actually a really good pick. That was like .08, so that was a pretty good one. But for the Astros and Cubs, that was a little bit higher. Lou Brock would have worked for the Cubs. Let's see. Palmero would have worked. We got Dawson. Buckner, that would have been a good pick. Billy Williams, I think I mentioned. Ed Delahanty's a popular go-to. That's right, Ashburn did play for the Cubs. I knew that. And I mentioned it in my book, so I should have played that. Ooh, Fred McGriff works, 2490. Obviously, Mark Grace. Sosa's not a bad pick. Sandberg. Cepeda plays for the Cubs. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket. I didn't realize that. Aramis Ramirez gets, see, like Aramis Ramirez was not a guy I would have thought of getting to 2,000 hits, but he'll work. He'll work for Milwaukee too. That's a fun one. And Willie Randolph and no, sorry, just Willie Wilson and Jason Kendall. Jason Kendall gets 2,000 hits. Good for him. All right. Well, fun game once again. Thanks a lot for playing along, and I'll be back at it tomorrow. Peace.